up, guys? Welcome to my review of the Halo Master Chief from Halo Infinite, the Spartan Collection. So this is actually the third release of this figure, and I wanted to do a review on it. Nobody's really made one yet, and I feel like it needs one just because it is different from the two prior Master Chiefs that they did release earlier this year and later last year, I believe, 2020. So I'm going to go through the figure, I'm going to go through the accessories, and then I'm going to do a comparison with the OG one, which I do still have as well. That's just it right here. There are some key differences if you look at the visor just for one. The original was metallic, and now they have scrapped that metallic visor for a more plastic visor. So I'm wondering why they did that, especially because Noble 6 is a part of this wave, and that would have been great, man. Sorry for the camera shake, just adjusting it as we go. This is a uncut video, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go through everything and then give you my thoughts on what I think about the figure. So we'll start off with the box. I'm gonna move this guy over. First thing we want to look at is the box. So as you can see, frame wise. Sorry, I'm trying to get in frame. Okay, anyways, that's fine. It says Halo up here, the Spartan Collection Master Chief with accessories. It comes with the VK78 Commando rifle. The grapple shot, that's a big difference here. And if you look at that, that's a giant grapple hook on his arm. Almost comical, but we'll get to that. And additional hands, as the entire Spartan Collection has been coming with, which is a game changer in my opinion. So big kudos to Wicked Cool Toys, Jazzwares, all the guys out there. They really are responsive to any, suggestions that the fans make. So, but that's for another time. Spartan Mark V with accessories. That's the orange one. I did get that one as well. I may or may not do a review on it. Spartan Palmer with accessories. I completely left that one on the peg. I didn't think it looked as good as some of the other figures that they've produced so far. Honestly, it kind of looked like a Mattel figure. No offense, Mattel. You know what you sold us. And then Noble 6, I did pick him up as well. Most likely I'll do a review of him as well. So this is the side of the box. Has a picture of Master Chief. Sorry, I'll just put it in frame right there. The front of the box is the same as it has been. Master Chief with accessories, 8 pieces, and then I took the plastic out already, but we're going to go ahead and go through the figures right now. Okay, so I wanted to start off with the accessories. So as it said on the back of the box, he comes with a VK78 Commando rifle. So this is that guy here. So we've seen this one before. We saw it initially with the Mark V, the white Mark V that they initially released. I think this one's a little bit different with the white stripe. I don't believe the original one had that with the Mark V, so it's a different change. I mean, it could be good or bad depending on what you're thinking. It's a good sculpt, man. A lot of detail, really a lot of detail. But one thing I will say about this, it is lacking paint, like shadowing. Some dry brush, some black wash rather. Would look excellent on this, really make all those details pop. It is a good sculpt. One other complaint that I do have is that it's just rubber. I wish they would have made it out of a harder material. So when you hold it, put it in his arms, he kind of bends it like this. If you're trying to hold it in a certain pose, a lot of times it'll bend, unfortunately. But overall, really good sculpt. Again, solid sculpt. It could use some black wash, some paint, and just a little bit of more sturdy material and you'd be good to go. So that's the Commando rifle. We've seen it before, came with the Mark V, and so nothing super new there, just a white stripe really. Got that. Okay, next thing we want to go into is the hands. So we got one fist hand for the left hand. We got one fist hand for the right hand. Again, these could use some black wash. I'll compare it to the Chief that I have initially, the first Chief. I did black wash that armor. It looks a little bit better. It's very subtle, but it works volumes. We've got a left hand open like this. This would be perfect for like holding Cortana. That's what I always think of. I've seen some people on Instagram create like a Cortana out of like 3D printing it and just kind of holding it. I think this is an excellent figure for that. This can be a gun holding arm too, like you're holding the barrel of it, but it's kind of too flat for that. It needs to be a little bit more closed. Got that. Got that like squad commando arm, which is like pointing to, you know, take out some enemies or something like that. Take out some coveys, as they say. Solid. I always like using this arm, to be honest. You don't see Chief doing this a lot, so when you do have it, it's cool to have that pose. So kind of brings more life to the figure. And then lastly, a right arm that's open as well. So not a lot of craziness going on. I think mine has a little bit of green paint. Yeah, that's fine. You can still see some silver on there too. So those are the accessories. And this is so everything that I just showed you essentially came with some of the other figures. So the hands aren't new, and then that gun, it also came with the Mark V, like I said, in the first wave, the white Mark V. This is the biggest difference here. Right here, we get the what they called is the grapple shot. So essentially it's a grapple hook that hooks onto his arm. I'm gonna show you guys the picture again. Boom, right there. So you got that. And just to bring it back in frame. So this is the grapple hook. Got that. Comes with a string, and I'm going to show you something. This is not necessarily the entirety of it. There's like a closed kind of like an anchor on his hand, which I think is pretty cool looking just on its own. This is more of like a toy, like a gimmick type of thing. Not a gimmick, I mean, you could pose him pretty solidly, but just looking at how big it is compared to the figure itself, that's kind of where my issue lies with it. It just makes the figure itself look just like very like cartoony, I think. Just, it's like laughably big. It's like bigger than his like entire forearm. It's like really military. UNSC needs to use more efficient stuff than that, right? So you got the grapple hook, it clips onto his arm. And you could definitely have them hanging from different places and stuff like that. That's what I think would be cool with this. So, not too much. Could use a black wash, but a decent amount of string. So you could have them hanging down from like a cliff or something like that, or like obviously like a shelf. So it is what it is. This is not the selling point for the figure for me. If this is the first Chief you were getting, you might not consider this a selling point either. Like, some of the other stuff is fine too, you know. But I mean, it'll come down to a couple different things. So that's the grapple shot, my friends. Alrighty, so next thing we have is the figure itself. So let's put it in frame right there. Voila, there you go. So this figure, overall, I think it's a good figure. The OG was great too. Honestly, that was damn near a perfect figure. I kind of feel like, to a certain degree, they improved things here. And then on another front, they didn't. So I can tell you, like, as far as like the joints and stuff like that, they're all essentially the same. One thing that they did change, I saw on Instagram, was the knee joints. See that little break in there? You get that break in the knee joints. You get it on both ends. And he does not, to my knowledge, I'm going to double check, but he doesn't bend as much as the OG one did. So the OG one, it was just one solid black piece. There wasn't this little inner working that was exposed. So you got that. Boom, boom, boom. So let's just go over the figure. Sorry, I'm just nitpicking right now, but we'll go over it. So biggest difference that you'll notice is the paint. It's almost like he kind of doesn't look green entirely. Okay, so from right there, solid look. From right there, solid look. It's crazy how that wash just changes everything out. So it's like a silver and black. See that? Got that battle damage right there. Got that blackness. I think in person it looks a lot better because the light ring that I'm using, it's making it shine a lot more. So here, let's see if we can turn this off. I'm gonna keep the other light on, but we'll turn this off for a second. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but you can see that shine, that silver. So we'll turn that guy back on. Yeah, a big paint difference. That's a huge thing in this Chief. So if you guys want to just compare it really quick to the OG Chief, mine was black wash. I blacked it out and then took off all that paint. See the details pop a little bit more because of that black wash. See like the back area right here and everything. Notice the difference. Kind of a big difference. depending on who you are, I mean, everybody has their preferences. So you can also kind of see like the back is a little bit wider on this new one. See the differences there? And the blacks are a little bit blacker. But let's get to the comparison in just a second. So that's one of the biggest differences is the paint. They were looking for more of a battle damage look, I believe. Not just, as clean as the first one was. Another thing that we'll go to straight away because it's right there is the grapple hook. That's like an anchor. I think this is supposed to be the closed version of this right here, the grapple shot. And then I haven't done this quite yet, but what I think we're supposed to do, oh, no. Sorry guys, I think it's supposed to sit on there, like, essentially like this. We're gonna reference the picture again one more time. So yeah, that's essentially what it's supposed to look like. I'm gonna take it off right now, but it doesn't really fit as great as I thought it would. I thought it would have been snug, which is fine. It's honestly, I'm not even gonna use that, but I think it looks cool like this. So it's kind of like the grapple hook, but he hasn't used it yet. So I think, essentially. Another thing that they did on this figure here is, again, like I was saying, the knee joints, different knees. Since we're looking at it right now, let's just go ahead and compare. So you got that. That is the bendability for that one. And then, as I was saying with the OG, see how it's all one black piece? And then, look at that. There's your difference. So you got that, and then that. It's kind of subtle, but I'll let you guys be the judges of that. It's kind of subtle, but I'd prefer this one, to be completely honest with you. So that's like your OG, and then see how it's all black, and then this one has there's your differences right there. Boom and boom. So that's a kind of a downfall in that sense. That's kind of a con in my opinion. You're losing range of motion. Not that Chief needs to kick himself in the ass, but you are losing range of motion. And then also just the aesthetic wise, if you do want to bend that knee, the other one looks great. This one kind of, you lose the illusion of it not being an action figure. Obviously it's an action figure, but just the realism, you really get the inner workings of the figure itself, which for some people it's a deal breaker. Another con, in my opinion, don't get me wrong, I do like this figure. I'm just pointing out some things that might be game changers for people, is the visor. So they switched the visor. So now we have a visor that is made out of plastic. You do get it's a solid sculpt in there though. You do get the details of the visor, which is good. Got some black on the head, some wash. But it is not a reflective visor like the original was, essentially, which looked exactly like the original Joyride figures, which was a nice throwback. If you guys follow me on Instagram, Las Vegas Toy Culture, you'll notice that I said that the original Chief was the best figure they've made. This is still in that arena because it is essentially pretty much the same figure. But I would say that a couple QC issues, and then also the paint is it's a make or break for some people. In certain angles, it looks solid. Like right there, that's dope. But look how like black and reflective it is. It's like you're losing the green of Chief, that iconic green. So that's kind of a con in my opinion. I might go through and put a black wash on this one and see how it looks. But we'll save that for another time. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know my joints too well as far as figure joints, but I'll just go ahead and do this. The arms articulate right there at the elbow. Got this at the elbow here. Got what they would call like it's like a ball hinge is what they would call essentially. Sorry guys, please don't troll me in the comments. I'm gonna definitely get these things down. I haven't made a review in essentially forever. Not of a figure at least. Got the knee joints, both sides. Got the foot joints. Got the ankle joints. They also kind of pivot there, ankle pivot. And then you got I think this is a game changer, man. Right there. It doesn't look like it, but when you put them like up like against a rock or something, it does make kind of a difference. I think it looks cool. I not only look cool, I think it looks more natural, weirdly enough. But got the arms that go out, limited by the shoulders, but that's every figure essentially. Got a ball peg in here. It doesn't go down as much, doesn't go up as much, just for range of motion. The head's solid. He can look completely side to side. Look up a lot. There you go. Let's see how far down he can look. Looking at a grunt. So what I'm gonna do now, so that's essentially the figure. Also at the thighs, they rotate and they split apart this much. So I don't want to test it too much. I don't want it to snap or anything like that, but let's look at a comparison of the other OG Chief. So like as we did already, same joints pretty much, all that. One thing is the paint's a little bit different too. So if you notice, this right here is black, the top of the chest, whereas this, they left it green. I don't know, I think that black on here, on this figure, would have looked great. I think it makes a difference too. Like, you tell me, what do you guys think? This looks more like a toy, I feel like, because of that. I know that sounds crazy, but it really does. This right here, you can't really say too much because I black washed it, so this with a little bit of black wash would look great, I think. And let's see. Oh, one big thing I wanted to note, kind of, this was a thing that people in the community always pointed out, is the pins. They haven't gone pinless yet, but we're getting there. See the pins? They match the figure itself, the colors. So you don't get that black on that bicep area and forearm area. So a little bit of a difference. Just subtleties, man. That's all it is, subtleties. Alrighty, so one thing I want to do, I'm going to do it off camera. I'm going to take this guy's head off, Chief. So, ball peg, right? So you got that ball peg. It does come out too, if you needed to. Here, one second. I got a... Where is the... Give me 1 second, guys. You know what? I'm going to cut real quick. Alrighty, guys. So we're back. I took the ball peg out. So that's what it looks like. The ball peg is entirely separate from the head in there, or the neck rather. So you pop that in and then you pop the head on top of that. So that's how this one works, right? One thing they did change with the new one is how the head sits on the neck, as well as how the peg is also. So on this one, you get less neck. On the new one, I'm gonna just take it off on camera here. Sorry for, we're rattling the camera a little bit. See that? The peg is built in and it kind of clicks as you need it to. They essentially serve the same function, but just a minor difference. And some you guys are probably asking, does this helmet from the OG Chief fit on this one? Yes, it does. So let me pop that on real quick. It's always satisfying, right? Boom. So that's kind of like the ultimate Chief right there. You throw a black wash on this, got the grapple and everything. Boom. What do you guys think? And then I'll throw the other one on, the other Chief. Thanks for your patience. Probably should cut, but it's all good. Okay. So you do get more of a neck, or not rather a neck, but this is the OG one. I want to say the helmet's a little bit of a different size. So it doesn't, I think you're getting more neck on this just because it's a different size helmet, I feel like. Yeah, this helmet looks a little bit smaller. Who knows? But this one fits nice on here. So this might be the definitive Chief right here. Who knows? But other than that, guys, that's my review of it. What would I say about this new Jazz vs. Chief? I would say if you could get your hands on the OG one, I have both, but if you can get your hands on the OG one with that head on here, do that. Honestly, personally, I don't know if this might be a game changer for you, though, at the same time. I think at some point you guys should get the Chief figure. Long story short is what I'm trying to say. It's a really good figure in general. It just depends on if you want, how you feel about paint, how you feel about the knee joints. It's all about the details. How you feel about the non-metallic visor. Do you like this visor better? For me, I think the metallic visor, the reflective visor rather, I think that's a game changer, personally. I think that was such a smart move by Wicked Cool Toys, and I was hoping they'll bring it back, honestly. After seeing this wave, it's a decent wave, but I hope that they bring it back. And I hope it's not like an issue with production or anything like that. That would be kind of a bummer. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Go ahead and subscribe, like, do whatever you need to do. Talk shit in the comments if you want. But other than that, guys, enjoy your day. Thank you for watching the review. Take care.